There was one experience I had where me and my companion were just walking, and out of nowhere, this big lizard comes out of nowhere. So there's really big lizards. There's iguanas there and stuff. So this big lizard comes out of nowhere. I think they call them like garrobos, is what they call them. And so they come out of nowhere, like jumped, and then rounded the corner, and a dog went after it. Like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And so we like hurried around the corner, and this guy that owned this like popsicle stand dropped his popsicle stand and just ran right after it and grabbed it. So people eat those just right from the wild. People grab them and they eat them. It's pretty intense. Yeah, they eat lizard. So the weirdest thing I've probably eaten there, maybe chicken feet. But I know in some areas, like I'd hear rumors that people like eat dog in like other areas, stuff like that. I've talked to somebody that eats what is it called, like balut, the fertilized eggs. It's pretty easy to find food and find fresh food, especially pupusas. Once 7 o'clock hits, once it's dark, then people are outside and they're selling their pupusas. So a pupusa, it's kind of like a main thing there in El Salvador. It's basically a stuffed tortilla that's been flattened and grilled, and it's like way good. So if you're down there, you definitely have to go try a pupusa. They're way good. One of my favorite things was plátanos fritos, and they're plantains. They're really ripe plantains that are fried too. It's really good. Some of the best food I've had is down there. So really good stuff. And so it's not spicy like your average Mexico, but it's really good food. If you're thirsty, along the street, people all the time, they have freshly squeezed oranges. So like in El Salvador, since it's a tropical place, there's constant fruit. There's fruit everywhere. Everybody's selling fruit. And so you can never go wrong with an ice cold thing of orange juice or stuff like that there. It only costs like $1. The food I miss the most is probably going to be the pupusas. Actually, like probably my first area, the cocinera that was there, I miss her cooking the most. Her cooking was the best. She'd always feed us lunch. It'd always kind of be the same thing. She'd have her own kind of routine. But when she'd sign up for dinner, her dinner was the best. So good. Yeah, really good stuff. I'd always remember getting out of her place, just being so full. I'm like, I don't know how I can do this. So by how much I've eaten there, I'm surprised I didn't get fat. But at the same time, I'm not, because of all the walking that we do. I basically sweat it all out. You can get snacks near where you want. If you're wanting a sweet treat, you can always get something from the store on the corner. There's stores everywhere. The culture's great. Everybody's so nice. I was never there during Easter time or anything, but they put salt out on the road. They make really cool designs. I forgot what that is during that time. Housing-wise, it's not like your typical apartment here in the United States. The apartments are dirty. You'll get pests, you'll get cockroaches. I'd always have a loaf of bread that I get from the store, and I constantly get a mouse in it. It'd chew right through it, it'd dig his own little burrow inside the bread. And so I try to find ways to like hang it up to where the mouse wouldn't get to it. When it rains, it rains. It doesn't matter if you have a waterproof jacket on, you're gonna get soaked. So just be prepared to get soaked. I've never seen rain like that before. The people there don't treat the environment as good as we do here. So people, like when you get on the bus, as you're waiting for it to go, a lot of people sell stuff on the bus and that you'll buy. And so someone would buy something, be like, a plastic bag with water in it. They drink it, and then as soon as they were done with it, they throw it out the window. And so the streets were covered in trash, and there'd always be canals, little ditches where the water would go when the rain would fall. But with all the trash, all of the canals would get clogged up, And so with them all getting clogged up, the roads became like rivers. And so when it rained, nobody's on the street. Everybody would stay inside until it lit up, and until it let up. And lightning, pretty scary. So I remember one time it was raining and pouring like crazy. And as soon as lightning struck, everything goes dark. And so it's not like your typical like lightning storm here, you know, when the power goes out, like you can still kind of see stuff outside a little bit. But there, like outside, once everything goes dark, it's impossible to see. And so you gotta have a flashlight with you too. And so walking home was kind of treacherous because we were on a big hill. And so like I said, when the rain comes down, the roads are like rivers. And so you gotta be prepared. Your shoes will get wet. You'll get soaked. My whole bottom half was soaked. Luckily I had, you know, a rain jacket, but that only gives you some sort of protection. But just be prepared weather-wise. Showering, rarely do you get heated water. And in the area that I was at, so they actually shut off the water at a certain time throughout the whole city. So the water gets shut off during the nighttime. And so after like 9 o'clock, the water would be shut off. And so luckily, in each house, usually there's a big space where, like cemented in area where you just fill it all the way up with water. And so when I'd go home and I'd be, you know, drenched in sweat and I'd feel super icky, I'd take a bucket of water and I'd go to the shower and I'd just dump the bucket of water on me and I'd wash myself off. That's how I do it. Drinking the water there, don't drink the water. We would have a water truck which would have purified water that would come on a weekly basis to drop off big jugs of water that we'd use to drink. I'd always try to freeze my water bottles the best I could because by 10 o'clock they'd already be completely unthawed. The bus is only like 25 cents. So the crime there, so you got two main gangs there. It's like MS-13 and it was like something 18. Each gang has their own area and they run the place. So if you moved from one area where a gang is into another area where it's a different gang, like they can come up and they can kill you. So it's pretty intense how bad the gangs are there. Me personally, I didn't have a problem. There was one time when we were on the street and this cop came up to us and was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, you guys shouldn't be in this area. Dressed as you are, you guys shouldn't be here." And we tell him, like, we go here all the time and like we don't see too much, but he'd just always be there to warn us. So I'd get a whole bunch of warnings, but I never really saw anything. Thankfully, I haven't experienced anything super bad there, other than a drunk guy coming up and grabbing your tie and then shouting like nonsense to you. Other than that, I haven't had any problems. But then again, you got to be careful. There'd be places where that would be marked red on our map of our area, so we couldn't go to. So it was marked red, so that was a no-go zone. You need to avoid those places because those are places where if a gang member gets in trouble, he'll run there. That's like a gang regroup area kind of thing. So the dogs in El Salvador, there's a lot of stray dogs in El Salvador. So when you're down there, you got to be careful. Like legit, you got to be careful. There's no pound or whatever in El Salvador, so there's a lot of stray dogs. And so the dogs are trained in a way that they know when you're going to throw a rock at them. And so when they're getting mad and they're growling at you, or they're in a place where you know that they're going to try and attack, if you bend down to pick up a rock, they'll already go the other way. So it's just kind of second nature to them to know when someone's going to throw something at them. And so I think there's only been a couple situations where I've had some dog encounters which would have been pretty nasty. but like just one night coming down a road, it was pretty dark. Just out of nowhere, just from underneath the fence, a dog comes up and just almost attacks. I was never bit or anything, but there's been a lot of close encounters with stray dogs. So just be careful with those.